Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Today I'm going to be celebrating my 500 subs over the question and answer session. And I just want to thank everyone who's watched my videos, who's commented on my videos, and for anyone who supported me over the last 6 months. You are awesome and I really appreciate it. Please stay tuned. Okay, before we get started, I just want to mention that I've got some channel plans for next month where I'm going to try and start uploading 4 videos a week instead of 3. I have been sort of uploading on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays, sometimes not so much, more on Monday, Wednesday, Sunday or Saturday, but I'm going to try and keep to the schedule as starting from next month, and I'm going to put an extra slot in with something a bit special. But I'm going to keep that for a little bit later. I'll give you a bit more details later. Also, what I did for this particular video, for everyone that asked questions on my community thing, there also a lot of people offered congratulations and they said a whole lot of other things, but unfortunately our print is not working at the moment. So what I did is I've just jotted down all the questions so that I can answer those. Okay, so let's get to it. First of all, Dad is Rad asked me, what book would you erase your mind from so you can reread it again? I think I mentioned this in a couple of videos, maybe a video or two earlier. Definitely Swan Song is my favourite novel. I'd love to read that fresh once again. And also from back here, Weaveworld. Those are my 2 favourite novels of all time. Yes, that would be the answer for that one. Number 2, Velvet Trance asked me, I think 6 questions here. And don't worry, it's not too much. Number 1, do you enjoy Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos writers? Yes, I love Lovecraft. I've done a video on my favourite novellas by him. Go check it out. And I have read a couple of authors that are kind of associated with the Cthulhu mythos. I know Brian Lumley is, I doubt this is a book though, Necroscope, but his name is sort of associated with that mythos. As well as Thomas Ligotti, Grim Scribe, and it's a very Lovecraftian story. Yeah, a lot of fun. I haven't spoken about this yet on my channel. Okay. Next one. Do you think horror fiction has a golden era? And if so, which era would you pick? I think most definitely the golden era of horror fiction is the 70s and 80s, where all the paperbacks from hell come from, and that's actually what I'm reading right now, and my next video is going to cover some of those. But yeah, that's definitely the golden era of horror. That's when the horror boom took place. Next one. What is a horror novel that scared you the most? Now this is not necessarily my favorite novel, but this is a novel that scared the bejesus out of me when I was younger, and that is Stephen King, The Shining. I found that truly terrifying. It's a supernatural tale. Yeah, if you haven't read it, do yourselves a favour. I don't think it's his best novel, but I think it's his scariest, most terrifying novel. Right. And similarly, a short story that scared you the most. Well, I think there's 2 that I can think of. One by Stephen King, and that is called Survivor Type. Not so much absolutely terrifying, but more as absolutely horrifying and disturbing. Very, very disturbing for a short story. And that's found from Skeleton Crew, that is Survivor Type. Another one I'm thinking of is the Midnight Meat Train, taken from the Books of Blood. Very gory, very graphic, and very, very scary. Okay, next up we have, also by Velvet Trance, do you celebrate Halloween in South Africa? Not really. I think to a very small extent there's a bit of trick-or-treating. I do remember that happening, but nothing like in the US. I know that they take it very, very seriously there, and perhaps in Great Britain as well, but we do celebrate it to a lesser extent. There's no way we can buy what you guys buy, but hey, maybe we'll get a witch's hat or a pumpkin or something, and we'll definitely celebrate. One thing that we do, the second part of the question is, would you consider a Halloween themed books for spooky season? Absolutely. And I'm definitely going to be doing that along with everyone else during Halloween. Right. The next question is from Edie Lewis Reviews. What is one of the gems of your collection? Okay, well, I've got two. Weevil behind me. And then there's a book I mentioned earlier on this year, right at the beginning of my booktube career. And that is Rudyard Kipling, A Collected Verses. And the reason I love this book so much is because it's signed by the author and my uncle. It was basically given to him, who was the mayor, my great uncle. I think at the time was the mayor of Johannesburg. So yeah, this is very, very, very special to me. And that's Rudyard Kipling. And it's all these verses, inclusive edition. Actually, I think it's the first edition as well. Right, next one from MJ at Reading This Life. What is the best lesson BookTube has taught you over the past 6 months? Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think there's two things that stand out for me. First of all, consistency. You're not going to see results if you don't be consistent. And actually keep putting out those videos, even though sometimes you might be feeling a bit down or things aren't going your way. It's actually better to just try and keep to a schedule and keep putting stuff out. And also, probably most importantly, and something that I've struggled with and I'm still learning, is just to be yourself. It's really just be natural in front of the camera and just kind of let your own humor, let your own personality shine through. I think I'm getting better at that, I hope. Those are two lessons that I've really taken from that, from my first 6 months. Okay, next up, from Alice. What is the strangest purchase you've made? Okay, I'm thinking this is probably about books. I haven't really made any very, very strange purchases. I did pick up this book just purely because of the cover and the name of the book, and I haven't read it yet. The Book of Human Skin. I just found that a very interesting name and I like the cover. But yeah, I haven't really purchased anything particularly strange. Sorry about that. Okay, next up we have Rod Gilly, author. Will your wife ever do a cameo on your show? Hey, will you do a cameo on my show?
Maybe.
Maybe. You might be lucky. You're lucky to hear her voice, okay? And anyway, for the Garb August, where everyone said Happy Garb August, if you look back on that video, in Ollie's videos, she makes a brief appearance. So there you go. Number 7, at Music Room. Oh, this is an interesting one. I often ask this question to BookTube creators. Do you have a particular musical talent? Or perhaps multiple ones? And just a warning, if you say yes, I'll try to get them to do something musical. Now, when we were a lot younger, my wife and I, we stayed in a small apartment, and one of the things we used to love doing is staying up till 2, 3 in the morning listening to music. And we had a pair of harmonicas that I bought her for her birthday, a very special pair of harmonica. And we used to play, and we had a lot of fun playing things like Billy Joel, what's the song?
Piano Man.
Piano Man. And we weren't very good. And unfortunately we got warned a couple of times, so we had to put them away. And we haven't played since. So unfortunately I'm not going to play for you. Yeah, it might drive you away from my channel, but it was a lot of fun while it lasted. And secondly, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but when we got married, I didn't have a speech for my wife. I sang her a song during our wedding. Instead of saying a speech, I sang her Thank You by Led Zeppelin. And I'm not going to sing, mainly because some of my cousins at the wedding told me not to lose my day job. So that kind of put me off just a little bit. I have sung to my wife from time to time, but that's just me and her, so sorry about that. Okay, last questions from Sarah. Who is your gorgeous beach companion? The photograph on my community thing, you've seen it on my channel, and that is our daughter Layla, our German Shepherd. Very beautiful. What is the most unusual book format you have ever read? Was it good? Do you have a favorite book format? Yeah, my favorite books are just books. Reading books. It could be hardcover, it could be softcover. I have recently got a Kindle, which I'm getting used to now, but those are the only formats that I usually use, and I prefer books to Kindles because I just like the feel of a book in my hand, whereas a Kindle, it just seemed a little bit more, I don't know, alien, a little bit more, yeah, it's not the same thing. But the useful thing about the Kindle, of course, is that I can get access to a lot more books than I could usually, especially where we live. It's kind of remote, and we got one tiny bookshop, so if I want to find out more books, if I want to get hold of more books, I use my Kindle. Right. Okay, so everyone, that's my question and answer thing done. Once again, thank you to all of you that helped me get to 500 subs. It was actually quite exciting to get there, and onwards and upwards, I hope. But yeah, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.